What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here with another transfer update for you guys. A late night bomber has just come through and everyone's saying, where's the transfer activity? We need players through the door. And it looks as though Spurs are working in the darkness, working in the shadows, and trying to pull the wool over our eyes as well, because we heard last week that Thomas Frank has been so impressed with Wilson Odobert, Spurs will not look to replace Son Heung-min. Well, it looks like that is completely false, because it looks as though Spurs are looking to bring in another winger, and that winger goes by the name of Savinho from Manchester City. We actually brought you Savinho in an update at the back end of last week, and I was thinking, nah, there is no chance this could happen. However, Fabrizio Romano has brought us a bomber. He calls it an exclusive, and he says Tottenham are opening club-to-club talks to sign Savinho from Man City. Negotiations are ongoing between Spurs and Man City, and understands Savinho is open to the move if the clubs can agree a fee. Tottenham boss Thomas Frank indicates Savinho as the ideal player. Savinho is Tottenham's #1 target. Concrete talks have started with all parties. The player is open to the move. And Matti Moretto says Man City do not want to lose Savinho, but if a very high offer comes in, it could happen. Tottenham are going to go strong for the player. Now, what do we think a really high bid is? They signed him for 25 million about a year ago in that deal with Girona. Obviously, they're a City sister club with Man City. Does a 50 million bid get him out? 60 million? Like, how far do you go? I'm looking at the quality of the player. I love Savinho. I think he's really, really good player. Such a tricky customer. I just remember him putting it through the legs of Destiny Udogie. He can terrorize defenses when he's in the mood. He is 21 years of age, so still learning his trade and still kind of developing into a top winger. But I definitely think he'll get there. And I think if he comes to Spurs, I think he's up there with the best wingers of the club, and definitely a starter for Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, he's so tricky on the ball. And I think if you had Savinho on the left and Kudus on the right, I think that is an unbelievable wing pairing to have, to be honest. I think that when you're looking at both of them, with the season they had last season, is there still enough goal contributions in there to kind of get, looking at Sonny's goal contributions, we need to make up for them. Maddison's, we need to make up for him. So I don't think it's enough in itself, Savinho, to say our front line is now fixed and we can move forward. I still think we need more. But this, as an isolated signing, I really think is a top signing, to be honest. I really do. Now, when you think of Man City saying they'll only do it for big money, doesn't sound too hopeful, does it? It really doesn't. I'm hoping that Spurs, we know Spurs have got money. We know there's that 60 million that we bid for Morgan Gibbs-White that hasn't been spent yet. We know that money's there. Is there more money on top of that? There's got to be, because we just need a number 10 as well. There's no chance we can go into that season without a number 10. So you just got to believe that we can bring in a Savinho plus someone like an Eze or someone like a natural 10 to come in and fill the void of Maddison and Kulusevski. But let us know your thoughts on Savinho in the comment section below. Do you want to see him at Spurs? Do you think he is a player of the required quality? Because I definitely think he is. I think he's out of the top drawer. And when you think of why, because the question's got to be asked, like, why are Man City open to selling him at this moment in time? Well, they've got Oscar Bob, who's just come back from his ACL, and they expect massive things from him. I mean, that last season was really supposed to be his breakthrough season, and then in the first game or first 2 games, he got that massive injury that left him out for the season. He's back, and he's going to be playing a lot of football. They've just signed Ryan Cherky as well, who can play in that position. And I'm looking at like the positions he's taken up. Well, first of all, let's just stick on that topic, because with Cherky there and with Oscar Bob there, does Savinho still get minutes? I think he does. But does he want to go to a club now? Not now, he's still 21, he's still young. But does he want to go to a club where he's going to start week in, week out? And does he think that's going to aid his development even more? Does he feel that there's too much competition for places at Manchester City. Is that why he's open to a move? That's the only really thing I can think of. He is on really low wages when you're talking about Man City players. I'll just get it up for you in a second, but in terms of the wages, it just shouldn't be an issue for Tottenham Hotspur. I'm just getting it up now. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on really low wages. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, £40,000 a week. 40. It's mad. He's on £40,000 a week, but I think from the player side, that's the only thing I can think of. First of all, he'll get a bumper pay rise. If not, he would get that Man City anyway. But the only thing I think of is the promise of regular game time, and he does come in as our out and out best left winger in the squad. So he definitely gets that at Tottenham Hotspur. That's the only thing I can think of why he would be open to the move. Now, it all depends on what fee Man City will settle on. I'm sure figures are going to come out in the coming days, maybe tomorrow, of why or what Man City are willing to sell him for. But just thinking about this as just a signing for Spurs, if we take Romano and we take Matti Moreto's kind of reports, you just look at what it'll bring you. Like, it is very exciting to think about having Savinho and Kudus on the wings, but you just need a number 10 there to gel it all together as well. It can't be just Savinho. It's got to be with a number 10. Like, can you imagine if we end up this window with Savinho and Eze? Now, I think with those two signings, I still think in an ideal world, I want another striker to replace Richarlison. You want some more cover at left back. But the front line starts to look a lot different. And I think I'd start to be a lot more comfortable with that front line if we could have a Savinho and it doesn't even need to be Eze, but someone that can just create for us in that middle of the park and fill the void that Maddison and Kulusevski are going to leave. Kulusevski, for the first 3 months of the season, and Maddison for the whole season. So yeah, it is better. It is better. When you're looking at the position, so it's a strange one because at Man City he did play predominantly right wing. He played 27 games totally at right wing last season for Man City, 1 goal, 6 goal contributions. On the left wing, he played 12 games with 1 goal and 5 goal contributions. That's a much better rate when he's out on the left wing. And then when you look back at his time at Girona, he basically only played on the left wing, where he played 35 games, 9 goals, 8 assists, attacking midfield, 2 goals, 1 goal, 2 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. So you got to look at it and say that over his career so far, he's shown that he's better. In terms of output, he's shown that he's better on the left wing than he is on the right wing. However, he is left-footed, which I think Frank likes to have his kind of wingers cutting inside, so they're on their other foot. So if they're on the left wing, you're right-footed. If you're on the right wing, you're left-footed. But for someone like Savinho, I don't think that would matter too much because he's so good on the ball. He's just a take-on demon, a dribbling demon, and he embarrassed a lot of Premier League defenders last season. I know he maybe didn't get the goal contributions where in the Premier League alone I'm talking about, because the stats I gave you before were all competitions, but in the Premier League alone, he didn't get the goal contributions where maybe you think like, yeah, he can be that Sonny replacement. But I genuinely believe Savinho probably could be the long-term Sonny replacement. And I think going into a season with Savinho, Odobert and Tell all comfortable playing on the left, I think that's really good options to have. Savinho being backed up by Odobert and Tell. I'm very comfortable with that. On the right wing with Kudus, we're being backed up by Brennan Johnson. I'm completely fine with that. It's just the striking department and the number 10 department where I've got massive issues with. And that's got to be our main priorities now moving forward. But look, more news is going to come out on this. Am I hopeful that this still will happen? No, probably not, because the key sticking point is that Man City don't want to sell. But if a very high offer comes in, they're going to consider it. Are we going to go and meet what Man City want? Are we going to offer something very big for Savinho? Or is this just more bloody smoke and mirrors from Tottenham Hotspur? We're about to find out. But if we're going to make a signing, we need to make one very quick. We're going into Monday now. In the early hours of Monday morning, in 3 days' time, we play the Super Cup against PSG. So I've lost all hope trying to bring in a player for that. But at least for the start of the new season this weekend, just under a week away, let's get 1 or 2 signings in so we look a lot better in that forward line. Because right now we've got a completely mid forward line. So that is the exclusive. That is the bomber. That is the breaking news at this moment in time. Tottenham have now opened club-to-club talks with Manchester City for their winger Savinho, which I think would be a brilliant signing for us. Like I said, just him, I'm not happy with. We need him and other players to come in as well. Definitely a number 10 and maybe even a striker as well. But let us know just on the Savinho signing, on the Savinho issue, would you like to see him at the football club? Does he represent really good business for you? And yeah, excited to know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, Spurs.